So this time we start the show. Instead of you doing this, we caught you
Yeah, we did. That was funny.
drinking your thing.
Yes.
Which is fine. Hello. So now today, you see, I don't want this to become a show, as in.
No.
This is just the English couple, by the way. Hello and welcome back to the channel, as they say.
Hi.
I don't really want this to turn into. Hi and welcome to another exciting episode of.
The Vogue Show.
Yeah,
It's not the Vogue
because
Show.
we're still in the set. We will change this. We're just gonna. This is just an experiment, so we're using this with all the gear and all that stuff, as you know from previous. But as some people have said, and we have left the comments up. Some people have said, "Oh, it'd be nice to be on a sofa or something like that."
We will make a more homely backdrop.
Yeah, and we may actually get a sofa and be on the sofa because I don't really want us to be on like news at 10. And here is the news.
No, quite.
So that's that's what we're trying to do. We thought here's a subject.
We thought dangerous.
Yeah, we thought we would chat about. Well, I thought it'd be an interesting thing. It's one of those things that I think because we want to make this about talking about. It is a bit personal, and we are talking about our hopes and dreams.
Oh
and
yeah, we will be talking about coupley stuff.
Yeah, that's what it's about because the name's in this strand, the English couple. Get it?
But we'll be talking about other things as well, I'm sure.
Yes, and reacting to things, and we're just building it up. But I know some members of the audience thinks they are the producers of the show and tell us, go and do this, or you should do it like this, or just talking about it is a bit, But at the moment, this is what this is, as we work it out. So bear with us. Anyway, the subject I wanted to talk about was, it's quite tricky, I think, for some people to sort of understand this, but it's the age difference. Mm-hmm. If you fall in love with somebody, the age doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, you do see some people who are in their 80s with somebody in their 20s. I mean, it's rare.
It's rare.
And the older person is usually stinking rich.
Yeah.
That's, that might be a bit suspect.
I mean, sometimes it could be quite clear cut like that, but
I'm not stinking rich, by the way, just so you know.
I think I've worked that out.
Oh, right, okay. I didn't want you to think,
I'm sorry to tell you,
Yeah.
but you are not stinking rich.
No, I'm not. I'm just stinking.
You're just Stinky Richard.
Stinky rich. Oh, yeah, I see what you did there. Very good.
Sorry, that was a stupid noise that came out of my face.
Yes. Not rich. So, yes, but some couples are like that. And
what I was going to say was love is love,
Yes.
You can't help who you fall in love with.
No, exactly. And that's, I've been trying to prevent you from falling in love with me for ages. But, I've relented. It happens. No. So all sorts of people of different ages have relationships, and it used to be more frowned on than it is today. I think people are a lot more relaxed about it.
Yes.
But I think some people are still a little bit stuck up about
touchy
it.
about it, yeah.
Because I think it is a cliche, the older man with the younger woman. Although Julia is actually older than me, and I'm only 12.
Cheeky swine.
Mentally, of course.
12, I was going to say. That's a bit weird.
No, but 12 mentally.
Mentally,
yeah.
Yeah. It's all right, well, I'm 5 mentally.
Actually, I'm just going to shunt the camera over a little bit that way.
I meant to tell you that yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the camera wasn't... Sorry about that technical thing. We don't have a cameraman or anything like that.
Hello, fourth wall.
Or a fourth wall.
Yeah.
No. Or a floor.
Yeah, I was a bit slow on the uptake there, sorry.
That's all right. So yeah, so we are 18 years difference. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, when we first we were friends for a hell of a long time and working together, and we were very close working together, and it happens just like film stars, where film stars work together. They might be in different relationships and things, as this turned out. And you work together and you suddenly sort of gel because you're doing something that you both enjoy.
Yeah, it can happen in plenty of other professions.
But yes, no, I know. I'm just using film stars because it's a cliche thing, isn't it? That, they work on a film, they're close together for 6 weeks.
Brangelina.
Yeah, Brangelina.
Yeah, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Oh, I see. I thought that was Brangelina.
No,
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what they got? I don't know their story. What
they
happened to
met
them?
on film set of Mr. and Mrs.
Doubtfire?
Jones.
Oh, Jones.
I think it was Jones. Anyway, where basically there were 2 spies in a marriage,
Oh,
not
that
realising
rings-
each was a
yeah.
spy. Anyway, I won't tell any more
No.
about the story, but they met on that, and the chemistry was so good, and they fell in love, and he left.
So he was
what's the name
already
who played
married,
Rachel? Jennifer Aniston.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was already married.
Oh,
to
okay.
Jennifer
I see.
Aniston.
I'm not really up with people like Brad
No,
Smith.
so that was a
what's
big
his
old
name?
thing.
Pitt.
Brad Smith.
Brad Smith.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, not Jones. It was Mr.
Oh,
and
there,
Mrs. Smith. There you go.
Alas, Smith and Jones.
I got
Remember
there in
that?
the
Or
end.
Alias Smith and Jones.
Anyway, so
whatever.
they became Brangelina.
Yes. And what was the point of all of that? What was the point? What were we saying?
Love is love, and you can't
Oh,
help
yes.
when you fall in love.
So that's right, you fall in love.
on set.
On set. So yes, and sometimes you get very, very close to people because you're working very, very close, and that's when work and relationships sort of develop, and you can. It's like, here's another thing.
When you work
Holiday romance. Some people, they might be on holiday, they might be married or attached or actually with a girlfriend or just have a number, because I don't understand it now in the modern world. Some people have a number of people on the go.
I don't
Really get any of that.
It's hard enough with one, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you have a holiday romance because you're on holiday, you're with somebody, and it only lasts for that holiday. You go, oh, I will write, I will ring, I will. Where do you live? Australia. Oh, Australia. Right, I won't ring, I won't write, I won't be in touch. We'll just go around the back, have a good shag, and that's it. And some people can deal with that. I'm not really one of those people that can deal with a fling, and then it's over. Because I'm invested in a person.
Yes.
I know some people can do that. And also, I haven't got enough time because I'm so busy following my mistress.
Yes.
No,
that's your wife, actually.
Oh, it's my
the
wife.
YouTube channel.
The
That's
YouTube
your
channel,
wife.
the project, the current project. So when I was when I was entertaining and trying to break into television and writing the books and all those things, I'm so focused on trying to do that I could only. When I was married and having kids, you were at the beginning of having kids and they need all that attention. I was very focused on that. And then the work, actually, because I was just juggling and stuff and I could do it, I could just switch on, turn up at an event and go, hello, yes, I'm Mr. Funny, Mr. Entertainer. That wasn't terribly entertaining, I realise that. But I could just do that, but then I could come back and focus on the kids and all the things that they needed and help Dawn, my ex at the time. And then
she was your wife at the time, but
my
your
wife,
ex now.
Yeah, she wasn't my ex at the time, of course. She was my bacon.
You have a funny way of wording things sometimes.
I don't always engage brain. You may have noticed that. That's what makes me so appealing, apparently.
Sorry, the connection between my brain and mouth sometimes goes completely out of whack.
Yeah. It's like trying to remember the name of a house in Goring. That, I don't know
One that I know perfectly well is called Castle Goring. Castle. It's not a house. It's not Goring House. It's a castle.
And that's what happens. You turn the camera on, and sometimes very often, you see, I do that all the time. Sometimes
very
I sort
often.
of like, what was the one I did?
I've never done that before for a long time.
Yes, I've never done it before for a long time. I do it all the
every
time. I do that frequently. Yeah, sometimes your brain goes to mush. That's what I was trying to say. Anyway, age difference. Let's get back to the subject in hand.
Topic.
Yes, so we have.
So you were 18 when I was born.
I was 18. Yes, and it's a good job I didn't know that you were going to be
the love of your life was just being born when you were 18 years young.
Because what would I have thought? That would have been weird. It would have been,
yeah.
and of course, as you're younger, that sort of age difference is
Really
more
matters, of
exaggerated,
course,
isn't it?
yeah.
And as you get older, I mean, I remember. Who was it? I can't remember if it was a TV programme or an actual person I was speaking to. It might have been somebody in the care home that I was talking to when I was dealing with my dad, actually. And he was saying that his girlfriend was 20 years younger than him. But they were, and he had more energy than she. That as they got older, she had few complications, and he was like in his 80s, and she was in her 60s, and she was going, "Oh, darling, I can't do this. I'm slowing down." And he was going, "This is, I can't really cope with her because she's old and decrepit." And yet you're going, well, hang on a minute, you're 20 years old. So sometimes that age is more of a mental thing, or your physical deformities and stuff as you get older.
Some people age better than others.
Yes. And so...
And I don't just mean in looks.
No, absolutely. And your outlook. But one of the things about age differences, of course, is if you are, like we are, 18 years apart, your whole childhood experiences, those formative years, are going to be very different.
Yeah, I mean, our childhood experiences are very different anyway, but then you've got the added time difference, of the generational difference.
Yeah, because you were brought up pretty much because your parents had work in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, and you had periods when you were quite small.
Also, my parents were loving towards each other,
Yes.
visibly loving towards each other. Also, I was showered in hugs and love, and I was, believe it or not, I was spoiled.
Yes. Well,
Mummy's little girl.
whereas I was put in a barrel of freezing water and piranha fish was added to it. So,
Not quite.
not quite that actually. That may have been made up. Yes, but
You had far more hurdles and obstacles to deal with, and
Yes.
traumas to deal with as a
yes,
child.
my mother was an alcoholic, and my father didn't really understand children. So, and you know, they were parents. I know parents who had children in the 60s. Their parents would have been brought up in the with Victorian values, because they would have probably, you know, it's like my dad was born in the 30s, so his parents were brought up just at the end of the Victorian era by parents of, so my grandparents would have been in the Victorian era.
Yeah.
And it seems to take 3 generations for the attitudes
To kind of
to sort of get
wane out.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I still have a few Victorian attitudes that have come down to me through the thing. So I that's why I like to dress reasonably. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about now.
No.
So age difference is a thing, and of course your references from your formative years are very different. Because, for example, yours are more American.
Well, yes, I mean, that's partly because of the nature of where I grew up.
Yes.
You know, my dad's job, well, my mum and dad moved us out to Saudi Arabia because my dad was able to earn much more money, and then they were able to purchase a nice a detached house in Fareham, and, you know, and they still have it now.
When they moved back?
Yeah, when
as a result
they
of it.
bought it while we were out there. It was being
right.
built whilst we actually came back and saw it as a shell,
Oh, I
a
see,
breeze
yeah,
box
yeah.
shell at one point. And I do remember walking into the room that I thought was going to be mine and saying, "This will be my ballet room." Mum was like, "I'm pregnant with your brother." That was a weird laugh.
Yeah, that was.
No, it was a weird laugh.
Very
I've never
nice
made that
laugh.
noise before.
Of all laughs
It's a
I've
frog
ever
in my
heard.
throat.
Is it? Ribbit.
Ribbit.
Yeah, so the bit about the Americanism is that the television,
That's
the
right.
cultural thing,
That's it,
was
because it
coming
was very
through.
Americanized over in Saudi.
Yes.
So yeah, so I get a lot of that.
Yeah. So you were born in what decade?
I was born in 1981.
In 1980. So in the 80s. So you were in 80. Yeah, of course you were, because I was born in the 60s. So. And my decade, of course, I was in Sussex mostly. I was born in Hampshire, but lived from 5 to 18 in Sussex. And, of course, you know, television was, I suppose the 60s and the 70s is what a lot of people think is the golden age of television. It was the sort of colour television came in, new programmes were, you know, things that had never been done before, and things were being tested. I mean, things like your Doctor Who's were starting, your science fiction. Yes, a lot of American stuff, $6 Million Man, the Mission Impossible, thank you. The A-Team, well, that A-Team is the 80s.
Yeah, I
all
was
of
going to
that.
say Mission Impossible was the 90s, wasn't it?
No, that's the films, you see. I'm talking about the TV series.
Oh, right, because I've never seen it.
She's never seen the TV series.
See,
You
that's
see-
the thing. Having grown up in Saudi Arabia, there's quite a few bits and bobs from, you know, British TV and films that I just didn't see. And
Right.
moving back here, I was in culture shock because of the weather difference,
Yeah.
the landscape difference, and the lack of vitamin D. The lack of vitamin D.
Yeah.
But and also I had nothing to relate to the other children that I was meeting. You know,
Exactly.
no
That's-
common ground. I was
Yeah,
like,
and because back in those days you didn't have mobile phones, you didn't have screens, you didn't have the internet and all of that. So you would have, if you were a kid, you would have things like the Beano magazine, if you were, certain books, Enid Blyton books that you would share in common. But the big thing, of course, was television. It was a massively brain-sucking thing for kids. But you only had 2 hours of children's television in the week, and even within that, you had all the different age groups of television, from baby television to your one little drama for your sort of 12 to 13s, 14s, and then there was Magic Roundabout, and then the news. And
by
so-
the 80s, the world was saturated
Yeah.
with
You've got
full
cartoon-
channels of children's TV. You know,
Sky came along, and you've got the Cartoon Network, and it wall to wall.
it was
kid
already
stuff.
it was already by then like a
Yeah.
intravenous TV.
Intravenous TV, and so all of that is coming in. So our cultural references were very much those of the things that were being made. And of course, you still had cinema was still there, and you did even in the 60s, as it was slowly dying out, the Saturday morning cinema. And I would go to Saturday morning cinema, and you would watch Flash Gordon, which was the never-ending series of Flash Gordon in 452,000 episodes in this black and white, with this rather dreadful, Thunderbirds came along and redesigned how you make...
Redefined it.
Yeah, redefined how you make spaceships fly about. But in the old days, it was literally two strings holding a bizarre little object, going around, Flash Gordon with basically a sparkler or a little smoke thing. But it did it, and then they were Ming the Merciless and all the others. Before Brian Blessed was doing Flash is alive, all that kind of stuff, before they made the feature film, of course. So cultural references are very strange. So in a relationship like we have, sometimes you'll talk about something and you'll know, like with Brad Pitt and all of that, which I sort of no longer, because I don't go to the cinema anymore, although Brad Pitt's is like a decade or so ago now, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that whole saga was, almost 15 years ago now, I think.
Yeah, and I sort of didn't really go through any of that because I suppose I was in a different place.
Yeah.
I think going to the cinema, for example, is a sort of a strange, because when you're younger you go more often, and then you mature a bit and you go less often. You're more choosy, and I've become extremely choosy, and also you have more expenses, and so it's a bit more of a luxury going, particularly if you're the head of the family and you've got to pay for the wife and the 3 children. Then it's very big luxury. And then you get a little bit like the age we are now, and we could quite happily, and we haven't yet, but it would be nice to go to the cinema. And have we not been to the cinema?
No, we're not.
No,
Not together.
No, we used to do that with Harriet.
Yeah, you babysat Joe once while I took Elijah.
Yes, but that was to go and watch a film for Elijah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
that
a
wasn't
kids'
you
film.
and me going to the cinema.
No, so we should do that.
So I don't know why I said it really.
No, I don't know why you said it.
Shut up.
But in my last relationship, we would go, and I think one of the last films we went to see was The King's Speech.
I still haven't seen that.
Which was a fantastic film.
Colin Firth?
Yeah. But we would be very choosy about what we went, because mostly at the cinema it was stuff that just didn't appeal. And then when you did go and see stuff, most of the time we would come away disappointed and found that the cinema is a bit, I don't know. And at the moment, nothing seems to attract me. I don't really know what's being made. No. But something for us to investigate, and that would be good for us to go to see something, or to go to the theatre and then discuss it on a thing like this.
A show like this.
Particularly if other people have seen it. I did see. I don't think I went to the cinema now. I can't remember. I think I got it on nefarious means, but don't tell anybody. I did see that thing about Dunkirk, which I'm glad I didn't go to the cinema to watch. Some years ago, there was a
I'm
film.
Trying to remember what it was called.
Some famous, so-called famous director made it, and it was a singer who was in it, a modern singer, not Tom Daly. He's a swimmer, isn't he?
He's a swimmer, not a singer.
Yeah, not a singer. It's very easy to get confused because as they dive down, they often go ah, and you think, oh, a little aereo coming on. Not an aereo, ario. And it isn't. It's a big splash.
Wasn't Ewan McGregor?
Oh, no. Somebody more.
He's not a singer, but he does.
Somebody, I see people be going.
They'll be screaming at the.
We know the bloody answer. I can't remember who it was, but he was a singer or a pop sort of idly type person.
Scrabbling around in my brain.
And then he's changed his career now, and he turns up in feature films, and we're all supposed to take him terribly seriously. I don't know why. And I've got nothing against people going from one genre to another at all. But it's just that it was, I think, because he was so well known as a young, fresh-faced, whatever he was, 22 or something. And then the next minute he's in a hard-hitting feature film, and it's like, oh, that's the singer, isn't it? And of course I didn't know which one he was, because there was a number of fresh-faced actors in it, and he was the famous singer. And of course I saw it, I had no idea which one he was, because I don't watch young, nubile, fresh-faced singers. Male singers particularly.
No idea.
And he may have been in one of the boy bands, I don't know, and like a lead singer of the boy band who splits from that, and then is picked up and is given feature films.
Still no idea.
He's not.
Anyway,
he's probably not watching. He's not watching our rubbish. So we haven't really got very far with this age difference thing, other than that age is a difference. But it doesn't seem to affect us.
Yeah, it's funny though, because there is a bit of stigma about it, isn't it?
Stigma from parents and other people, like.
Oh no, it's usually stigma from people who absolutely have nothing to do with the situation.
Well,
They're
that's
like,
true.
oh, that's disgusting.
Well, we do get comments. I mean, on YouTube, of course, you put yourself up. We do get people going, "Oh, look at that old." I mean, I used to get them. Is that your granddaughter? Thanks.
Rude.
And I could understand in the early days when we were just friends, and they say, "Is it your daughter?" Because I suppose. Technically, you could be, even though I'm 18 years. You know, you could have been my daughter.
You could have a daughter.
I could
of
have
my
a daughter
age.
of your age. Yes,
But you
I
don't.
started really early then. But my daughter is nearly 30, or is 30 now. I get
Yeah,
confused.
she's just over 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, so 10 years
Just to point that
younger.
out, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
They're almost my generation.
but they're
Kind
not
of.
quite.
No, not
Yeah.
quite.
Yeah, I'm afraid. But the thing is, you're 40 and you don't look it.
Well, thank you.
And I think that's.
Well, you don't look.
I think
Almost
sometimes
60.
also there's a bit of jealousy involved with some people, because they may go, "Oh, look at him! He's got a lovely young lady on his arm. What does she see in him?" And I can completely get that. You know, I understand that.
I could tell them. I could list the millions of ways I love thee.
Yeah,
But I won't, because
No.
that'd be boring.
exactly.
That's for me and him to know.
Yeah. So anyway, we are allowing comments on this video, so you are able to
Yes.
comment and tell us.
I think you're disgusting. Oh.
Don't give us the negative comments and all the criticism comments, or the comments that tell us what we should do or what we shouldn't do. We're just interested in: are you somebody who is in a relationship where you are having? Is there an age difference, and does that age difference make a difference? You know, it might not make a difference to you, and I don't really care that people think I might be your
No,
granddad.
I don't give a damn what people think.
No.
I mean, there are practical things,
Like,
like the fact that, you know, when you've fallen in love with someone and you how should I say this? You want to splice DNA with them. You know, there's no. I know it sounds stupid.
Yeah.
But you know, there is that craving, that, you know, because I love you, and there is that natural urge that I want to have your baby. She says it all. But you know,
which one? I've got 3 to pick. They're quite old now.
Oh, let me try and get myself together. But you know,
Yes.
one has to accept that due to the age difference. I mean, I'm 40, which, I mean,
Yeah.
even when I had my first child, I was medically termed a geriatric mother.
And how old were you when you had Elijah?
29.
29. No, how can you be at that's the
No,
same
no,
age that we had our first
it's because
child?
I was already past my prime for breeding.
Right, but that was the age that Dawn and I had our first. Sam.
Yeah, so she would have also been termed
and then
a
we,
geriatric
5 years
mother.
later, we had, she must have been about
So,
35.
but I'm thinking, if I was a geriatric mother then, what would I be now?
Old age pension.
Absolutely positively ancient.
Yes.
But anyways, so, you know, I mean, there are risks of being an older mum having a baby anyway. But then, you know, with you being 18 years older, you know, how much of this child's life would you be able to see?
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
Plus, it would tie us down, and we really couldn't do all the things that we
I mean,
wanna
and
do.
yes, because at least at the, you know, you come with baggage. I
Yes.
mean, I come with baggage, i.e., the YouTube channel, and this is how I do, you know, which is a huge ask of somebody who gets involved with me, because they end up on camera.
Yeah, fortunately for you, I met you through your channel.
Yes,
So.
but you come with the children, which I then have to sort of go, oh, well, you know, it's like if I want to be with this young lady, then this is the conditions. But one advantage by you not having my children, or a child by me, is that your children also have their father, and their father is able to look after his own children, of course, because he's a grown man.
He's a grown man.
And has his own life, etc. And so that frees you so that we can have some coupley times.
Yes, we do get some time.
Yeah. Whereas if it was our
our
child, then
thing.
suddenly I'm starting all over again with a child, which we have no one really to farm off, because I don't have any parents
parents
anymore,
left.
because I put them in a box. Just, terrible.
Some people can't get over
they
the
don't
way
get
you
my
word
sense of
things.
humour, and so they get very offended if
I'm
I
sure
say.
both your parents would have chuckled.
My parents would have, I wouldn't say anything. I mean, as much as I've had issues with my parents over the years, I love them to bits. They are my parents, and they know how I can joke about their demise and being a pile of ash in boxes and stuff. So that it's fine, and they're my parents to do that. I'm not being
and I am
disrespectful
in no way
to anybody
embarrassed
else's.
by anything that comes out of your mouth, usually.
Not now.
No, it's more
So
a point
you
of, oh my God, I can't
he
believe
say
he
that?
said that.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have said that, but he said that.
Yeah, he says it. Silly
Like
man.
the S word you said earlier.
What does the S word?
S-H-A-G.
Oh, having a
Oh, I
shag.
couldn't have said that. Yeah, you did it again.
There you go. Well, I don't know. It's like you've got to keep the audience on the. Did he say
On the edge of
shag?
the teeth.
Is that what he just
Again,
said?
did he?
Did he say shag? Good gracious, a
Oh,
man of his
shit,
age.
I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Just stop.
Is he able to do it for one thing? Goodness.
Hey, right, no, that's too much.
That's
Come
too
on.
much. Come on. Anyway, we're going to end now. But interesting to know if there's age differences and you have problems with them, not with us, our age, but with your own age difference or people that you know, or your children. I mean, you could then say, well, what if your daughter, who's 30, got involved with somebody who's 60 or 70? How would that make me feel? And you'd have to know the person, wouldn't you? Mm-mm. You couldn't just go, arbitrarily. No, they're out of the age group. Maybe if they were 90 and the other one was 20, you might go, hang on a minute, what's in it? But anyway, we better leave it there because it's going on too much. So,
Hope we didn't divulge too much.
no, there's nothing that we can divulge that's too much.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
probably.
I
not.
think there are. Actually, as it happens.
Probably is. Anyway, till next time. Thanks for
I'm gonna get a
watching.
gag on you.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Take care.
Bye.